Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada.
Jai Tulsi Maharani, Tulsi Maharani, Jai. We offer our most respectful obeisances unto all the Vaishnavas of the Lord, who just like desire trees, who could fulfill the desires of everyone, and they're full of compassion for the fallen. Vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Vaishnav. Oh, what's that? It's for me or Ramanuja? Yeah. Is he living here or what? Yeah, I'd like to see him. Okay, yeah, anytime. Yeah. Yeah, contact him. Jayo Radha Madhova Kunya Bihari Jayo Radha Madhova Kunya Bihari Gopi Nanamalapa Giribadura Hure Gopi Nanamalapa Giribadura Hure Yasodananda Vrajajananandana Yasodananda Vrajajananandana Jambunat Hera Vanachari Yamuna Te Ramanachari Jai Ho Radha Umadava Kunya Vihare Jaya Radha Umadava Kunya Vihare Gopi Jana Malaba Kiribaru Dhagute Gopi Jana Malaba Kiribaru Dhare Yasoda Nandana Vraja Jana Anjana Yasoda Nandana Vraja Jana Anjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Te Ravanachari Jayuranho Madhava Kunya Vihare Jayuranho Madhava Kunya Vihare Jai Om Vishnu Pad Paramahansa Paravidikacharya Alsuteta Satashi Shimad His Divine Grace Abhaya Chatanara Bhaktivedanta Goswami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai ISKCON Founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Anantakoti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai Namacharya Srila Hoidas Thakur Ki Jai Say Kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shidwaita Gadadha Shivasiti Gaur Bhaktavan Ki Jai Shri Radhakrishna Gopi Gopinath Sayam Kunda Radhakunda Giri Govardhan Ki Jai Vrindavanam Ki Jai Maturanam Ki Jai Jagadata Swami Ki Jai Yamunamai Ki Jai Srimati Lasi Devi Ki Jai Samveda Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai Gaur Premananda Hari Hari Bo. All glory is the assembled devotees. All glory is the assembled devotees. All glory is the assembled devotees. All glory is to Shri Guru and Gauranga Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Namah Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Namani Namaste Saraswati Devi Gaurvani Kajari Devashesha Shanyavadi Paschatya Dejatari. So we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th canto, 46th chapter, text 36 today. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Ma Makidyatam Mahabhagav Adrakshata Krishnam Antake Antar Hriday Sabhutanam Aste Jyotir Ivairasi Makidyatam Mahabhagaho Drakshata Krishnamantake Makidyatam what song? Well, I'm sorry. I was reading the word by words. Antaridi Sabhutanam Aste Jyotiri Vaidasi Makidyatam Mahabhagaho Drakshata Krishnamantake Antaridi Sabhutanam Aste Jyotirvaidasi Makidyatam Mahabhagaho Drakshata Krishnamantake Antaridi Sabhutanam Aste Jyotirvaidasi. Okay. Anyone else? Okay. Makidyatam. Please do not lament. Mahabhagav. O most fortunate ones. Drakshata. You will see. Krishnam. Krishna. Antake. In the near future. Anta. Within. Hriday, the hearts. Sa, he, Bhutanam, of all living beings. Aste is present. Jyoti, fire. Eva, just as. Edasi, within firewood. So translation, O most fortunate ones, do not lament. You will see Krishna again very soon. He is present in the hearts of all living beings, just as fire lies dormant in wood. So you can repeat. O most fortunate ones, do not lament. You will see Krishna again very soon. He is present in the hearts of all living beings. Just as fire lies dormant in wood. So, purport by the servants of His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Uddhava understood that Nanda and Yashoda were very impatient to see Krishna, and thus he reassured them that Krishna would come soon. So, let me read the Acharya's commentaries, which are really informative. So we have Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, who writes, "Oh, so great is our misfortune that there is delay in our truthful son coming to Braj." To answer the lamenting parents, Uddhava replies with this verse, "You should not lament. Very soon you will be able to see Krishna. You say we will see him. Well, when will that be? Tomorrow? The next day, or 10 days later? With some consolation, we will keep our life heirs from leaving our bodies till that day. But if he is not coming, you should tell us truthfully. As it is difficult to prevent the life heirs from leaving, then let them leave." Uddhava, hearing Nanda speak like this, then began to consider, one should advise those who are suffering separation from the material sons in this way. Why are you immersed in the illusion of family attachment like this? False attachment to wife and sons is a cause of trouble. Give that up and attach yourself to the Lord. But how can I advise Nanda, who is attached to the Lord as his son? He is not like Vasudeva, who on seeing the godly powers of Krishna weakens his attachment to him as his son. Rather, by showing them Krishna's powers, Nanda and Yashoda's attachment to their son will become stronger. When parents lose sight of the son playing in their house, they die out of sorrow. By our good fortune, the Lord himself plays about as our son in our house. If we cannot care for him for even a moment, we lament. How will we live not seeing that child in our house? We are so unfortunate having been separated from such a child. This is how Nanda and Yashoda feel. Vasudeva and Devaki, however, on realizing the godly powers of Krishna, say he is worshipful, he is not our son. Thus they refrain from embracing and fondling him. Not only is Nanda and Yashoda's possessiveness of Krishna tied tightly, but Krishna, though the Supreme Lord, has strong possessiveness of them as well. His pain for his devotee I have seen when he said, "Go to Braja and make my father and mother happy. Remove the pain of separation from the women of Braja by giving news about me." Bhagavatam 10:46-3. O Nanda, we people of Braja have a natural attachment for your son. Also, he has great attachment for us. What is the cause? Bhagavatam 10:26-13. I remember hearing these words of the coward men. If I go to Mathura and bring Krishna here tomorrow, Jarasandha will come to destroy Mathura, angry because Kamsa's lives have been left as widows. Who then will protect Vasudeva and the other Yadavas? If Krishna then again goes to Mathura to protect them, then those in Braja will certainly die. If I say that Krishna will come in 4 or 5 years, they will not be patient for that long. So this is all going on in Uddhava's mind. There's all these different conflicts. What should I do in this situation? If I lie and tell them that he will come after 4 or 5 days, when the time expires and they discover I lied, they will die. So that's called a lose-lose proposition, conflict. Whatever I do, it's bad. But now he comes up with some means that he thinks will actually take care of the whole situation, which is absolutely wrong. As there is no other means, I will now weaken their prema, like you could weaken the prema of Nanda Maharaj and Yashoda Mai, which is... Anyway, but he's thinking like that because he comes from Mathura, you understand? He's a member of the Yadu dynasty. So He's thinking like that because his mood is actually very similar, not a parental mood, but his mood is it's a new friendship. But his mood in friendship is one of mixed with awe and reverence. It's not one of intimacy. He's Krishna's advisor in Mathura and Dwarka, but he's not in a very intimate playing with Krishna. Rolling on the bed with Krishna, things like that. He's realizing Krishna is God. It will now weaken their prema by telling them that as super soul, Krishna is neutral to everyone. So your son is just, he's neutral. He loves everyone equally. It's something like a husband telling a wife. The wife says, "Do you love me?" And the husband, being on the Brahman platform, he says, "I love all living entities equally. I do not see a difference between you and every other living entity, including the ants in this room and the cockroaches. Try that at home." So, Adi, I want you to try that today, see if it works. It's just like, what are they thinking of? This guy's crazy. I mean, that's divorce territory, isn't it? So, I weaken their prema. Again, I'll say that by telling that the Super Soul Krishna is neutral, everyone. As impersonal Brahman, he is without relationships with father, mother, body, karma, or birth, and will teach meditation on the soul to realize that. If on revealing all this, Nanda and Yashoda's unlimited, unfathomable, uncontrolled prema increases even more, it will. It's also like when Madhavendra Puri was leaving the planet and he was lamenting, "Oh my Lord, I have not reached Mathura," right? Lamenting like that. And then Ramchandra Puri, his disciple, says, "Meditate on Brahman." It's the same thing. Of course, Nanda and Yashoda don't get angry with Uddhava. Nanda and Yashoda's unlimited, unfathomable prema increases even more. Then it will go to Mathura and simply glorify their incomparable prema again and again to the assembly of Krishna, Vasudeva, Ugrasen, and others, and astonish them all. I should rather just criticize Krishna. So that's it. So he's going through all the point is it's a conflict in his mind. That's the real point. And he's just thinking, what's going to work in this situation? This is going to work, that's going to work. It's really, and he tries this actually. Having made this decision, he then began to speak about Krishna as the super soul. Like fire within the wood, this is a paraphrase of this verse, Krishna is present within the hearts of all living beings. Then why can no one see him? One does not see fire and wood without kindling it. Krishna can also be seen by the proper method, in other words, meditation. Uddhava's implication is if you did not perform devotional activities as Vaishnavas for Krishna, your son, would he appear in your house. Nanda and Yashoda then thought, somehow or other Krishna must appear in our house, we must perform devotional service. Thus, when Uddhava returned to Mathura, Nanda and the cowherd men with tearful eyes told him, O fortunate one, may our minds rest on his lotus eyes. May our voices sing his name, and may our bodies offer him respects. So they thought, the only way to get him to return is to perform devotional service, which is actually true. Anyway, that's for us. Actually, Jiva Goswami, a lot of lengthy purports here, commentaries. Jiva Goswami says, they could not tolerate the words, he will come. Again, Uddhava tries to console them, do not lament. When Uddhava said that Krishna would return, Yashoda glanced at him. Uddhava saw that glance and exclaimed, O fortunate ones, fearing that they could not tolerate even a little delay in Krishna's coming. Uddhava then began teaching them, following the customary way of relieving lamentation, philosophy. Krishna exists even within the antakarana of all beings. That means the heart, inside. What to speak of existing outside of them? An example is given to show how he has a prakata nature. That means unmanifest nature. Nature you cannot see. In being bound by ropes and eating dirt as well as other pastimes, only Yashoda could see his all-pervasive nature. Others did not realize this fact, and thus he does not appear within them. But he remains manifesting himself within you too at all times. Why do you need his external manifestation? Shoo. But if you desire that, then certainly that will take place soon. As Paramatma exists in all beings invisibly, fire exists in wood invisibly, similarly, Krishna exists near you invisibly. You see him in the manifestation of Goloka, and he sees you close up. You see him also through the mind. And very soon you will see him with your eyes. In other words, just perform devotional service, and you'll be able to see Krishna. This is the advice we give it just about everybody. It's advice to the neophytes. Just perform. And finally, Sanatana Goswami is very short purport. He is in the hearts of all beings. You'll see him on your lap, undecay, which is actually, undecay actually means close in Sanskrit, which is interesting. So the word, I'll explain that in a second. Therefore, do not lament, O fortunate couple, by the great fortune of your bhakti, who will be attracted and will come. You'll see Krishna, who is attracted by bhakti. He calls out to Yashoda as well as to Nanda, since she is overcome with grief, in order to remove her suffering, saying that she will soon see her son. So again, the verse. Kidyata mahabhago dakshata krishnamantake antaridi zabhutanam aste jyotir ivaidasi. So omagana tivadanda sha gananjana shalakaya chakshur and midita yena tasmai shigurave namaha. So it's interesting. I just want to comment first on this word antike. In the understanding of the translation, it's used to indicate, be connected with drakshata, which means you will see Krishnamantake in the near future. But antake also means will be close. The word close. Actually, I looked up this word in the dictionary last night. So antake means close. So it means connected with drakshata, it means close future. You will see closely. You will see him closely, or you'll see him in the future. But also it could mean he will be on your lap, which stated in Sanatana Goswami's commentary. And also it means that Krishna is near right now, which is really, really interesting. Anyway, I just want to comment on that one particular word. Now, I just want to read this particular portion from the Gopal Champu to help you understand a little bit more what's happening here. Because Nanda Yashoda was still grief-stricken, he spoke with intense agony. You two are most fortunate. Do not grieve. You will soon see that Krishna resides here at all times. So that's the same thing. Krishna is here, which is the same thing as I was explaining about Antike. Krishna is near. Krishna resides here at all times. He's here. What to speak of being close? He's everywhere. And then the second portion. The word Krishna Vartma means fire because fire pervades like Krishna. It's interesting. Fire pervades. You know, like you can get Krishna within the fire, but fire pervades everything like Krishna's pervading. He is given the reason why you cannot see his form here now. And then another point he makes is that he has to fool the demons by not being visually present here. He's here, Buddha was saying, but he's fooling the demons because you can't see him. However, you can actually see him in his bhava form, and that's explained by Prabhupada. In the beginning, actually the first few sentences in the beginning of the Krishna book, not the beginning of the Krishna book, of this chapter in the Krishna book. And Prabhupada explains this very nicely. Many devotees have tried to make adjustments to Krishna being away from Vrindavan because, according to expert opinion, Krishna, the original Supreme Personality of Godhead, never goes even a step out of Vrindavan. He always remains there. The explanation of expert devotees is that Krishna was actually not absent from Vrindavan. He came back with Nanda Maharaj as promised. Expert devotees, however, have decided that Krishna was neither a cheater nor a breaker of promises. Krishna, in his original identity, returned with Nanda Maharaj and stayed with the gopis and Mother Yashoda in his bhava expansion. So, what does the word bhava mean? It means emotional expansion. And because of that intense emotion, that they could see Krishna too sometimes. And let me give an example of how that occurs. I've heard from some grahastas that when their children grow up and move out of the house, you'll experience this in the future, and they move out of the house, and the grahastas are living in the same house. You know, their children grew up, and there's the bedrooms there and everything like that. They actually go into their child's room, and actually they perceive the child still there, because it's such an intense move. Even in the material world, it's like that. You actually perceive the child in that room, because there's so many years, and now what's it called? Empty nest syndrome. Empty nest syndrome. Another point is, another material explanation, is that when you have a dearly beloved friend or family member who passes away, and he he's been in this room he passed away in that room, then what you have to do when the person passes away, you have to actually change the whole room, isn't it? You have to take out the carpet, change the floor, put new paint on the walls, change the curtains, put a new light bulb, not light bulb, but a whole light fixture in, because it's just too intense going in that room. I've seen that with people, because I've been with people who've passed away and seen that with their family members. It's like that. And even, there was one girl who passed away, and even me, and I wasn't a family member, I was helping her remember Krishna. There we go. So what happened is that every time I'd see her car, her father used her car for a while, I actually saw her, because it was so intense. So anyway, so Krishna and Balaram remained in Mathura, not in the original forms, but in their expansions as Vasudeva and Sankarshan. So in Mathura, they actually weren't in their original forms, but an expansion to the original, the real Krishna, the real. Prabhupada uses the word real here. Isn't that interesting? The real, I'm saying that again because it's so cool. The real Krishna and Balaram were in Vrindavan and their bhava manifestation. So, it's not that, it's imitation Krishna and Balaram. It wasn't the real Brajendra Nandana as we know him and love him. Whereas in Mathura, they appeared in their Prabhava and Vaibhava expansions. This is the expert opinion of advanced devotees of Krishna. Externally, however, they were absent from Vrindavan. Therefore, Nanda Maharaj was preparing to return to Vrindavan. When Nanda Maharaj was preparing to return to Vrindavan, there was some discussion between him and the cowherd boys concerning how they could live in separation. The conclusion is to separate was reached by mutual agreement. And then continuing in this, just a jump here in the Krishna book. Although the inhabitants of Vrindavan felt separation from Krishna, the resulting ecstasy bhava caused from them to associate. They were thinking here, caused them to think. Here Krishna was playing in this way. Here Krishna was blowing on his flute. Krishna was joking with us in this way. Krishna was embracing us like this. This is called Leela Smarana. And it is the process of association with Krishna most recommended by great devotees, even Lord Chaitanya, when he was at Puri, enjoying, and even Lord Chaitanya, push a little editing mistake here, enjoyed Leela Smarana association with Krishna. So the point is that if we actually start thinking like that in Krishna's passage, we will see Krishna. That's a bhava. Bhava means emotion. So you can actually see Krishna, and that you can draw Krishna's presence by your intense emotion. That's what we're meant to do in Krishna consciousness. Have this, it should always, Tivrena bhakti yogena yajeta purusham param. Tivra means forceful, intense. You understand? So we are meant to develop this really intensity of ecstasy. Just like I was just in New Orleans. I'm not going to comment on the heat. But one of these devotees was leading kirtan. One of my good friends, Gadadhar, who you know, he was leading kirtan, and it was just, the kirtan was just so beautiful and intense that you could actually see Krishna. It was like being in the spiritual world. So when the intensity is turned up to that degree, there's perception with all the senses. One can smell Krishna, one can taste Krishna, one can feel Krishna, one can see Krishna, all the senses, and one can think of Krishna, obviously. So it's a question of turning up the intensity. It's like if someone is deaf, they have hearing damage. So sometimes, like most of the people from India do, I've been noticed that, they turn up the volume on the kirtan so they can hear. Also, that was another problem in New Orleans, because they have this gong. Boom, boom, boom. And even with the earplugs in and everything like that, it was just, I had to go to the back of the temple room and writhe in pain. But so, because they have hearing damage, so we have damage to our senses, so we have to turn up the intensity. You understand? Yeah. Tatshi Krishna namadi nabhavetrayam indriya. Seva mukhehi jivado swayameva purachita. That we cannot perceive Krishna with the sense, but seva mukhehi jivado swayameva purachita. If we engage in service, but service means, according to Rupa Goswami, with great devotion, not just like doing things ritualistically. Just thinking how fortunate I am to be doing this, to be serving Krishna. I mean, every minute we should be thinking like that. It's very forceful, not passionate. Sometimes devotees think forceful devotional service is passion. You start screaming at everybody. It's not like that. Let me continue reading. It really, Prabhupada's words are just like filled, isn't it, with bhav, with emotion. Those in the most exalted position of devotional service and ecstasy can live with Krishna always by remembering his pastimes. You are already perceiving his presence 24 hours a day, yet he will come and see you soon. Actually, he is present everywhere in everyone's heart, just as fire is present in wood. So, in one sense, he's right. Uddhava is right, that if you actually, what does it say, when you actually produce fire from wood, the rani sticks that they use in the fire sacrifice, you have to keep rubbing really hard. You can't just go. Can you imagine? Where's the fire? Where's the fire? I've seen devotees try to set fire like that. Sometime when we were camping, we used to do the same thing. Rubbing sticks. You got to. You ever do that? A romance. That's a cheap way. Devotional service is not cheap. You don't get a match in devotional service with phosphorus on it. So you have to just, you just like, yeah, we've done, rubbing stones too, stones, like Flintstones, not the cartoon, Flintstones. You rub them together, and then finally a spark comes, and then you ignite a fire. So that's devotional service. He will come and see you very soon. Actually, he's present in everyone's heart, and everyone's heart, just as fire is present in wood. So that's, that's actually good advice. Just increase your emotion. And of course, how could they increase their emotion? It was already at the peak, but it always increased. Devotional service is always increasing. So, anyway, getting back to the point. How can we do that? Well, we have to really just be absorbed in Lila Kata, and Lila Kata in regard to Krishna's pastimes in Vrindavan, if we want to go to Vrindavan. If you want to go to Mathura, Dwarka, that's fine. Or Vaikuntha, that's fine. But specifically the Vrindavan pastimes, and as we've been reading in the Jaiva Dharma, that when one reads about even the demons in Vrindavan, one goes to Vrindavan. And one reads about the I'm not saying we don't read the other sections of Krishna or the Bhagavad. People could take this out of context. Maharaj just wants to stop at this point in reading, all the rest of the 10th canto, forget about it at this point. Because as devotees of Brajendra Nandana in the Krishna consciousness movement, Radha Brajendra Nandana, we actually see these pastimes as Krishna's expansion. See Krishna doing these things as Lord Nrsingadeva or whatever, but we see that it's Krishna and Vrindavan acting in this way. We never lose sight. If one wants to always be in Braj, you never lose sight that it is actually Krishna acting in a different mode. And Krishna also feeling separation. He's not in Vrindavan. So therefore, it's described, Bhaktivinoda Thakur describes it very interesting. He says, those who concentrate on the demon pastimes outside of Vrindavan, they go to Mathura Dwarka, the spiritual. It's really interesting. And those who constantly meditate on the demon pastimes in Vrindavan, or the anarthas, getting rid of the anarthas. Because he actually said the anarthas that are represented by the demon pastimes outside of Vrindavan. It's not we should also get rid of them, but specifically they relate to the pastimes outside of Vrindavan. What? No, Bhagavad Gita. This is philosophy. One has to understand. Bhaktivinoda Thakur is speaking on a very high level. I'm not encouraging Sahajism at this particular point. So he talked about this, about the demon pastimes in Vrindavan and demon pastimes outside of Vrindavan. So our meditation should be in Vrindavan. Like Prabhupada oftentimes would get in that mood too. He would sometimes say, one should, in the Bhagavad Gita it says in one purport, one should just think of Krishna's pastimes in Vrindavan and not any other form of Krishna. So this is just an ecstatic statement. Obviously, we think of all these things. Jayadeva Goswami, the pure devotee, Keshavadrita Narahari Rupa, Keshavadrita Shukla Rupa, etc. He was seeing Krishna doing all these things. We actually bring Vrindavan outside of Vrindavan. Does that make sense? We see Krishna because of course that's up to you. I mean, sometimes there'll be some devotees that are Ram Bhaktas within the Krishna consciousness movement. But when they see Ram, they actually see Krishna acting in that way. So they actually bring Vrindavan out to these other pastimes. Anyway, I had other things to talk about, like, how Krishna, we talk about how Krishna's in the heart here. So I was also thinking about relating that to Hanuman, like opening up his chest and seeing Lord Ramana's heart. And Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu saying to Gadadhar Pandit Goswami, where is Krishna? Where is Krishna? And Gadadhar Pandit said, he's in your heart. And then Lord Chaitanya started to tear apart his chest. He was feeling this intense mood. And Gadadhar Pandit stopped him from doing that, saved his life, so to speak. And then you even have Lord Chaitanya, whose intensity of devotion was so great that when he was in Jagannath Puri, exhibiting mood of separation, he actually heard Krishna's flute. And he actually saw Krishna. And the devotees, just took him out of there, and he said, you've taken me away from Vrindavan. So this is the intensity that these pure devotees, and of course Lord Chaitanya, acting as the best devotee of the Lord, was exhibiting. So anyway, it's an interesting topic.
Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Maravindanalayataptam Varhavatam Samasitam Buddhasundarangam Kandar Agom Vikamaniya Vishesha Shobham Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Angani Yasa Sakalen Priya Priti Manti Vasyanti Panti Kayanti Jiram Naganti Ananda Chinmaya Sadhu Jala Vigrahasya Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami
Tamaham Bhajami. Namahom Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristaya Bhutale Shimate Bhakti Vedantagan Samini Saraswati Devi Purvani Vachak Devasesha Shunyavani Vasachade Satande Om Ramani Vachak Devasesha Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sivasadi Gaura Vrinda Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Yadvaita Gadadhara Sivasadi Gaura Vrinda Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sivasadi Gaura Vrinda Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sivasadi Gaura Vrinda Krishna Chaitanya Nityananda Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Advaita Gadadhara Sivasadi Gaura Vrinda Jai Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sivasadi Gaura Vrinda Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Jaya Ram, looking at the brother there. Jaya Ram, looking at the brother there. Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Sri Radhe. Jai Om Vishnupad. Paramahangsa. Premananda Hari Hari Bol. All glory is the assembled devotees, all glory is the assembled devotees, all glory is the assembled devotees, all glory is the Shri Guru Prabhupada.
Chaitodharpanam Arjanam Bhavamahadavagni Nirvapanam Shreya Kairavya Chandrika Vikaranam Vidyavanam Anandamuni Vardhanam Svadanam Sarvatma Snapanam Paramijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam Nam Namakari Bahuda Nija Sarva Shaktis Tatrapitani Amita Smaranena Kala Etad Drishita Vakripa Bhagavan Mamapi Durdaiva Midrishami Hajjani Nanuraga Trinadapi Sunichena Tororapi Suhishuna Amanina Manadena Kirtaniya Sadahari Nadanam Najanam Nasundarim Kavitam Va Jagadisha Kamaye Mama Janmani Janmani Ishvare Bhavatad Bhaktir Hoitaki Twai Ainanda Tanuja Kinkaram Patitam Mam Vishameva Bambudau Kripayata Vapada Pankaja Stita Duli Sadrishim Pachintaya Nayanam Gadarashudaraya Varanam Gadgadaradaya Gira Pulakarnishitam Vapukada Tavanama Grahaneva Vishyati Yugayatam Namishena Chakshusha Pravashayatam Shunayatam Jagat Sarvam Govindam Virahename Ashlishyava Padaratam Anastumam Adarshanam Marmahata Karotuva Yatatava Vidata Padomat Prananatastu Saiva Napara. Victory to the Sri Krishna Sankirtan, which cleanses the heart of all the dust accumulated for years and extinguishes the fire of conditional life of repeated birth and death. This Sankirtan movement is the prime benediction for humanity at large because it spreads the rays of the benediction moon. It is the life of all transcendental knowledge. It increases the ocean of transcendental bliss and enables us to fully taste the nectar for which we are always anxious. O my Lord, congregational chanting of your holy name alone can render all benediction to living beings, and thus you have hundreds and millions of names like Krishna and Govinda. In these transcendental names you've invested all your transcendental energies. There are not even hard and fast rules for chanting these names. O my Lord, out of kindness you enable us to easily approach you by your holy names, but I am so unfortunate that I have no attraction for them. One should chant the holy name of the Lord in a humble state of mind, thinking oneself lower than the straw in the street. One should be more tolerant than a tree, devoid of all sense of false prestige, and should be ready to offer all respect to others. In such a state of mind, I can chant the holy name of the Lord constantly. O Almighty Lord, I have no desire to accumulate wealth, nor do I desire beautiful women, nor do I want any number of followers. I only want your causeless devotional service, birth after birth. O Son of Maharaj Nanda Krishna, I am your eternal servitor, yet somehow or other I have fallen to the ocean of birth and death. Please pick me up from this ocean of death and place me as one of the atoms at your lotus feet. O my Lord, when will my eyes be decorated with tears of love flowing constantly when I chant your holy name? When will my voice choke up, and when will the hairs of my body stand on end at the recitation of your name? O Govinda, feeling your separation, I am considering a moment to be like 12 years or more. Tears are flowing from my eyes like torrents of rain, and I am feeling all vacant in the world in your absence. I know no one but Krishna as my Lord, and he shall remain so, even if he handles me roughly by his embrace.